Thank you. Hello, everybody. So we have been kind of moving the meditation around. Sometimes it's before the lesson, sometimes it's after the lesson. In the recent surveys, you spoke to us, and 1/3 of the people like it before the lesson, 1/3 of the people like it after the lesson, and 1/3 of the people just don't care. Okay. The reason we put it before the lesson is because research has shown that meditation allows the mind to quiet down, and we have greater clarity, we have greater retention, and we have greater recall later. And so we thought if we had it before the meditation, the lesson would become more meaningful to you. Now that being said, oftentimes the lesson itself can dictate where the meditation goes. And some lessons are designed to have the meditation at the end and some to the beginning. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't know anything more than we did a year ago. But it will be moving around, so just bear with us. And also, I very much appreciate your feedback. I like to know what you like. I like to know what you don't like. And that allows us to create a service that really has the greatest possible benefit for you. My cousin Ozzy has a new girlfriend. They met about 2 months ago. The fireworks went off, and he is just head over heels in love. Her name is Wilma Sandvig. And after dating for a month or so, Wilma confessed to Ozzy that when she was a young girl, she had identical twin boys, and she wasn't able to care for them at the time, so she put them up for adoption. Well, a couple weeks after that, Wilma got a letter in the mail. And well, let me back up a second. One of the boys went to Egypt, actually, and he was named Amal. And the other boy went to Spain, and he was named Juan. So a couple of weeks ago, Wilma gets a letter, and it's from Juan, and with the letter, there's a picture of him. And she's so happy to see how he'd grown into such a handsome young man. But at the same time, she told Ozzy that she was sad because she didn't get to see Amal. And Ozzy, trying to help, said, Wilma, don't worry about it. If you've seen Juan, you've seen them all. Are those groans? God. Oh, boy. I tell you, this crowd can just go anywhere in a minute. Okay, I want to talk about you. And I might not know you well, I might not know you at all, but I do know this to be true about you. You were born into this world, and at that particular time, your conscious mind was a blank slate. You had no collection of thought. It was like a brand new computer that had never been programmed. You're a little bundle of emotional energy. And as you grew, people around you started to put things in your mind. Older family members, teachers, preachers, other authoritative figures told you things, they taught you things, and you began to have this collection of thought. Now think of your consciousness as a room in your mind. And that is where you do all your thinking. That is where you have all your sensing, all your perceiving in this room of consciousness within your mind. And it was empty in the beginning, then people started filling it up with ideas, with thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and perceptions. And through those perceptions and attitudes and feelings and thoughts, you would perceive what was going on around you, and you would put meaning to it based on the thoughts that you had been given. Everything was going along quite smoothly. You were given a belief system that was common to the tribe that you were living in, and you began to grow and take on the attitudes of the other people in your life. But then one day, something happened. And you were still relatively young, maybe 3 or 4 years old. Something happened that changed your life forever. Never again to be the same. 2 thought concepts were introduced into your mind, or they were impressed upon you, and that changed everything. And those 2 concepts were hurry and worry. This probably happened about the time when you started school, and all of a sudden you were being hurried up so that you wouldn't be late. And they're around you, you saw mom or dad hurrying you along, and they were worried that you would be late. So you began to incorporate these two things, these two thought concepts, into your daily life. And from that point forward, till today, your life has gotten faster and faster and faster. And it's filled with hurry and it's worry. We can almost call them cousins in consciousness, because where you find one, you usually find the other. If there is hurry, there is worry. If there's worry, the thoughts are in a hurried state. So you begin to move through life and you normalize hurry and worry to a certain degree. And everything is fine, but your life gets faster and faster and faster. And then we all moved into the age of technology, and technology began to discover things and invent things so we could do things even faster. Great improvements were made to every aspect of our life. And in technology, when an improvement is made, what happens? Things are speeded up. We also went through that age where we had fast food. We had 1 hour, almost everything. Everything became faster and faster and faster. And it got to the point where we began to think that this is just a normal way of life. But the point is, you weren't alone. Every single person in the world experienced that to some degree. Our world has become faster and faster and faster and faster over the last 50 years, that our minds have 100 times the activity that the minds of people did 50 years ago. Northwestern Insurance Company did a survey, and they discovered that half the people that responded said that they were in a state of very high stress. 75% of the calls that are made to the doctor, or the visits to the doctor, are for ailments that are stress-related. 1/3 of the people in the workforce say that they experience very heavy stress and they feel as if they're going to burn out at some time in the near future. We're racing down the road of life against the clock, and we call this normal. And at the same time, the physical detriments of this fast world, like ulcers and heart attacks and anxiety and nervous breakdowns and all the other things that go with it, all those things are going through the roof in regards to greater people experiencing them. We live in a very, very fast world, fast to the point where the speed of our daily lives has gone outside the boundaries of nature. See, nature has its own rhythm. It has its own pace. Everything in the universe, other than human beings, abides by this pace except for us. Now, that is the problem. The solution is that we can fix that. We learned how to hurry, and we learned how to worry, and we learned how to accelerate our life pace, and we learned how to do all these things that have a negative effect on us. And if we learned all those things, we can simply unlearn them. All we need to do is learn how to regulate the hurry and the worry. Now, I'm not saying that we can ever go to a point where there's absolutely no hurry in our lives or absolutely no worry in our lives, but we can learn to regulate it. We can learn to tone it down. We can learn to be aware of the fact when we are worried to an excess or hurried to an excess, and take a moment to adjust it. I have 3 things to help you do that. And the first thing is, your life is filled with all sorts of different activities. And of those activities, I'm sure that there are many that you don't like to do, that seem to weigh on you in a very heavy way. They're not pleasurable, and some don't even offer a benefit. So I'm saying, take a look at your life and determine what those things are that don't offer you a benefit, that you don't like to do, and quit doing them. What would happen? Would the world fall apart? Would your life crumble? No. Life would go on and you would be much happier. The second thing I suggest is that you learn how to say no. You know, I know, as many of you do, that there are people that ask us to do things, and it's a very kind person who complies with those requests. But sometimes we just have to learn to say no. See, technology gave us more time. Technology gave us a faster way of doing things, and it gave us more time, and that should translate into more time to slow down and rest and relax. But instead of doing that, what's happened is we can get things done faster so we can pile more things in, and we're cramming our lives full of so many activities that we barely have time to take a breath and relax. Think for a moment of yourself driving down the interstate, I-35 at 5 o'clock, and the rush hour traffic is just zooming by. The cars are bumper to bumper, and it's very, very intense. You want to move to a point where you can exit the highway, but it's hard to do. It's nerve-wracking because there's so many cars going so fast. And that's very much like our lives are right now. Now imagine yourself going down that same interstate at 3 o'clock in the morning. There might be a car a mile ahead of you, might be a car a mile behind you, and you're in a very easy, calm state. You can make your exit quite easily. We can do that same thing with our lives. We need to do that same thing with our lives for the sake of our relationships, for the sake of our health, for the sake of our diet, for the sake of every aspect of our lives. We need to take time to slow down, to restore balance. So the first thing is to cut out all those things that don't serve a benefit. The second thing is to be confident enough to say no when you don't want to do something. And the third thing is to take time, and this is a very simple practice. We did it before meditation. Take time to rebalance. When you feel yourself getting anxious, when you feel yourself rushing in a hurry or in a worry of some sort, just take time, and this practice can be done in 1 minute. It's very easily. Follow me with this. Just take a moment and close your eyes, and I'm going to guide you through it. Close your eyes, and once again, put your hand over your heart. As you breathe in a deep breath, feel your breath surround the heart. Breathe out through your solar plexus, and feel the air go out. Do that again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Once more, breathe in. Breathe out. Now, with your hand over your heart, think of something that you are grateful for. It might be a person, it might be a place, it might be a thing, it might be a feeling. Something that you're very pleased with. It makes you feel good. You appreciate it. And just hold that in mind for a moment. Okay. Open your eyes. Join me. Now, that very simple exercise has a scientific logic behind it. We have two great energy sources in our body. One is our brain, and the other one is our heart. The heart is the emotional seat. It is the intuitive seat of the body, and the brain is the thinking aspect of who we are. Now, when there's great hurry, and there's great worry, and there's great anxiety, and you're in a state of kind of frantic anticipation, that's usually happening inside your mind. And that can even drain down to the heart, where the heart gets upset. It starts following that same pattern. But when we go to the heart like we just did, and we think of something that we're extremely grateful for, we soothe the heart, we calm the heart, and that energy then becomes coherent with the brain, and it slows it down and soothes it down. There are all sorts of different tests you can do as you do this particular exercise that shows your energy level that might be spiking, how it slows down and begins to even out, and everything becomes more serene. If you're in a traffic jam of some sort, you can do that. Keep your eyes open, look around, find something around you that you appreciate or that you have gratitude for, and you find that you'll completely calm down. It's called quick coherence, and it was developed by a company named HeartMath, who has for 30 years studied the relationship between the brain and the heart. And they've recognized that the heart has an energy that's 6,000 times greater than the energy of the brain. It's the emotional seat that allows us to balance our lives, to remain calm, and to remain peaceful under the most erratic of circumstances. Quick coherence. Try it throughout the week, especially when you're finding yourself troubled, worried, or in a hurry of some sort. Just take a moment to breathe, put your hand on your heart, think of something that you're grateful for.